All right, so we're done with hockey for tonight, and that's 2 games in the books. And again, there wasn't a whole lot of tension in either of these games. And so for teams in California, the struggles continue. San Jose can be the best team in California as of tomorrow night. So we'll see how they do. But right now, they do look like the best team out of the 2 California teams. So let's go ahead and get started. Anaheim went into Washington tonight. And Washington, these are the Capitals. Panik scores right away from Boyd and Eller, 50 seconds. Ducks under siege. Shots were 4-0 in that first minute. Craziness. Absolute craziness. The Caps went about 6.5 minutes without a shot. So, even though the Ducks allowed that first goal, the Capitals lost that momentum. The momentum then shifted back to the Caps' favor. But before the end of the period, Oshie gets a delay of game penalty, and the Ducks go to the power play. They wouldn't score on it, but again, you feel like this game might be in some doubt after the first, only because Anaheim can come back. Second period, Vrana had a fantastic break that was stopped by Gibson, and both goalies were playing very, very well. There was a scrum at the 5:29 mark. These teams kind of ended up having a more contentious game than you might expect of teams that are in different conferences and don't really see each other. The Caps go to a power play, and that's where things get bad if you're a fan of the Ducks. Ovechkin from Kuznetsov and Karlsson, 6 minutes and 39 seconds. Power play goal, I believe now he's 221 behind the Gretzky mark. I think that's what is there, 220, 221, somewhere in that range. We should have a countdown on the board. We should have the Ovechkin countdown to the Gretzky goal total. Anyways, so that made it 2-0. The Ducks tried to answer. Holtby looked fantastic, though, to that point in the game. And before the end of the period, as it's 2-0, and the Ducks are trying to fight back, Stevenson scores from Hathaway in 1926. As he's scoring that goal, though, things get kind of physical. There's a scrum. Basically, Hathaway decided he'd had enough of all of the Ducks. He wanted to fight with all of the Ducks. And kind of looked like he was telling the linesman exactly that, like he was ready to fight everybody. So he ended up getting thrown out of the game. He spit on Goodbranson. So Goodbranson decided to throw a punch at him after that. Can't blame him. Guy spits in your face. That's when it's punching time. And it was strange because Hathaway already had crossed a line down on the ice, elbowing a guy in the chin, sort of rubbing his elbow across him. And and then he takes a shot at Ritchie when he gets back up, and then he goes after Goodbranson. Yeah, it was Derek Grant that he had to pin down on the ice. So, pick your poison here. Hathaway gets kicked out of the game, and that would lead to 4-on-4 to start with. In the third period, we go with the Ducks playing 4-on-4 with the Capitals, down 3-0. Then there was a goal by the Ducks that was wiped out for goaltending contact with the goaltender. It was incidental contact. You don't have to call a penalty each time if it's ruled that it was just you're skating around. It's just incidental. It wasn't on purpose. But you didn't give the goaltender a chance to make the save. It's not a penalty. It's just incidental contact, and the goal's wiped out. Doesn't matter. Vrana scores at 5:44 to make it 4-0. So instead of 3-1, it's 4-0, and that's a huge swing. Holtby, and I put up here, Holtby doesn't get rattled. The reason being, Braden Holtby looks so calm, cool, and collected in every single game you see him in. You can take any image of him over the last 8 years and just, put them all next to each other, and you go, was he winning or losing here? I don't know. Did he have a shutout? Did he have a bad game? I have no idea. You want to look at the original, Do I Look Nervous? The Bennington guy. You may have heard of Jordan Bennington. Yeah, Holtby is just like Bennington. Never looks nervous or rattled. Not really. And then Oshie got a double minor. High stick. And during that power play, Steele scores from Shore and Del Zotto at 13:31. That takes away the shutout. They wouldn't score during the second half of that power play. However, Delorier would score from Raquel and Getzlaff at 18:11. So that made it 4-2. The Ducks, in seeing that the game's 4-2, they say, all right, we're going to go for it. They pull the goalie. With the goalie pulled, Wilson gets a goal from Karlsson and Backstrom at 18:49. John Karlsson with a couple of helpers tonight. He continues to run towards that Norris Trophy. And your final score is 5-2. So the Capitals absolutely led the whole way in this one. Anaheim made it interesting late, but they weren't really in it either. Gibson saved 26 out of 30. I thought he played okay. Solid in the first period, but overall he was outplayed by Holtby, who saved 32 out of 34. 3 stars are Holtby, Panik, and Chandler Stevenson. Shots 12-7 in favor of the Capitals in the first, 12-12 in the second, and 15-7 in favor of Anaheim in the third, for final shot totals of 34-31 for the Ducks. The Ducks go 1 for 4 on the power play. The Capitals only had the 1 power play, and they scored on it. So that's making an efficient use of your power play. For people following along at home, the Caps are 7 points clear now of anybody? They've played more games than other teams, but they're also winning virtually every game they're in. So the Capitals are one of the best teams in the league. That stands to reason. And I look at the Ducks right now and I wonder, can they get into the playoffs? Because right now it looks like they're backing away, and there's some other teams that are going to turn things around. You got to think Calgary's going to turn things around. San Jose's already turned things around and they're on this nice winning streak. And where then do the Ducks fit in? So if all of that fight falls against them, the Ducks are going to find themselves out of the playoffs again. All right, next up, last up, either way you want to look at it, the LA Kings. We're back into a situation where the Kings can't score goals. So they had a 3-game winning streak coming into tonight, and it came to a screeching halt in Arizona. Arizona now has not allowed a goal in more than 2 games. So that's kind of nice. And both goalies have come out of the last 2 games with shutouts. So that's kind of nice. Garland scored from Dvorak and Schmaltz at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. It was a slow start for LA. Shot-wise, they were really behind. Schmaltz, absolutely great game for Nick Schmaltz tonight. This is why I love this kid. The Coyotes got a power play 14 minutes in, and they scored on it. It's Stepan from Dvorak and Kessel at 14:48. So Kessel gets on the board there with a helper, and it's 2-0 in favor of the Coyotes. The Coyotes are 7-0-0 coming into tonight when they score a power play goal. Make that 8-0-0. And when they don't allow a power play goal, they had been 5-0-0. Make that 6-0-0. So that's one of those strange things. If they get a power play goal or they don't allow a power play goal, they're going to win. Arizona, creating some interesting stats along the way. The Coyotes got another power play towards the end of that period. They did not score on that one. Second period. Good push by the Kings at the start of that period. It was withstood by Ranta, seemingly with ease. I believe it was Kopitar had that first fantastic shot that Ranta just went, nope. Early power play as well for the Kings. The Kings went right back to the power play after that first one failed. But the Kings' power play is an issue, and their special teams are a huge issue for the Kings so far this season. It was a much better period to that stage for the Kings than had been the first. Shorthanded breakaway for Stepan, in which he didn't get a goal, but it was a nice shorthanded breakaway for him after scoring that power play goal in the first. The Coyotes got a power play 9.5 minutes into that second period, and it would be Jacob Chychrun from Garland and Schmaltz at 10:47. So Schmaltz with 2 helpers, Garland with a goal and an assist tonight. Garland continues to show people, hey, I'm going to score 20 this year. He's up to 10 already. That, of course, is the big failing aspect of their season last year. Not a single 20-goal scorer. With 19 goals, you had Galchenyuk and you had Richardson. And, of course, Richardson's not, he'll be lucky to get 10 right now. But we've got at least one guy who will score 20 in Garland, barring injury, and there'll be more than that. So they've got that part of their game figured out. The penalty parade continued. Coyotes went back to the power play. Then the Kings got a power play. It just felt like most of that second period was a special teams battle. Third period, although it didn't feel like an overly dirty game, it didn't feel like anything like what this one turned into towards the end of that second period. There wasn't a Garnet Hathaway incident in this one, basically, where I'm just fighting everybody. Third period, Ranta robbed Wagner at about 9:29, and the Kings, they pressured. They had a lot of shots. Couldn't get anything through Ranta tonight. The offense is an issue, and the Coyotes, this is a pattern for them. They score 3 goals, they're probably going to win. Their goaltending's fantastic. Their defense is solid. And yeah, this is just the storyline now with the Coyotes. They are looking like a legit playoff team right now. Campbell saved 24 out of 27 in the loss. Ronta saved all 30 shots for his 12th career shutout. Your 3 stars are Ronta, Garland, and Dvorak. So it's Arizona across the board. Power plays, LA goes 0 for 4. Arizona goes 2 for 4. So Arizona put the hammer down there. The shots were 13-6 Arizona in the first, 14-6 LA in the second, 10-8 LA in the third. Final shots were actually in favor of LA, 30-27. I don't think that tells the story, though. It feels like, they just salted the game away in the first, and as much as LA tried in the second and third. I don't know how many of those chances were fantastic, but whatever ones were, Ronta was ready for them and able to repel them. So the Coyotes continue to impress, and for the Kings, that 3-game winning streak is over. Now they got to try to get on another one in their next game. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's 13 games tomorrow, so get ready because tomorrow night's going to be crazy. Thanks for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.